labor से जो commercial Namaskar.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please share your PPT.
Yes, sir. Right, sir. Sir, I hope the PPT is visible, sir.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, sir. Once you give me the go ahead, sir, I will start, sir. Okay.
Just 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Please.
So, good evening to all the participants. Uh, Here we have with us Surajit sir, and our today's topic is NCFSE 2023. I welcome you all on behalf of Aryavarta Saudya School Complex in this eighth online training session. Surajit sir, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
So I now
So I
request
can
Surajit
start,
sir
sir.
to kindly start
Okay.
the
Yes,
session.
sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Okay, sir. So once again, good evening to Himanshu, sir, present over there in this particular platform today. Good evening to all the respected, learned principals, all the learned teachers who are present in this platform today for yet another session of our ongoing series of learning. Today we have a topic which is again been visited and revisited time and again, that is National Curriculum Framework School Education 2023. Respected teachers, as you know, that slowly you can feel that also, you can observe that also, that slowly we are now moving into the new concept of teaching learning processes that are happening in our schools, which were recommended to us through the National Education Policy 2020. Once the National Education Policy 2020 was placed in front of the public domain, and after that, when the NCF was placed, and if you see, if you really give a thought to it, you'll find that we are not very fast, we are very slowly entering into that new era of teaching learning. We are slowly going away or moving away from the 10+2 system of learning, and we are entering into the world of 5+3+3+4 system of learning. It is very much there. You all can feel it. I will say we need to feel about it. Okay, we need to see it and we need to feel it. So obviously, when the change is going on, when the change is taking place, when we are slowly moving, then definitely we need to look into this NCF time and again. Because see, NCF, NEP 2020, it's not that in one day or in one training program or in two training programs you will get to know everything about it. It's like pure mathematics. It needs total calculation, proper implementation and understanding. It's a complete scientific process. So we need to visit and revisit this particular module of our learning so that we can completely involve and evolve ourselves. I'll say we should need to involve and we evolve ourselves with this system of learning and with this system of teaching learning process for our children. Okay, so let's move again once again. Let's go into NCF. Today we will again briefly see within the 1 hour what are the different recommendations that are being made by the Ministry of Education and by NCRT, by CBSC through these beautiful documents known as NCF. Right, respected teachers. So here we go. First of all, we will just familiarize ourselves with the major recommendations of the NCF School Education 23. It's a part one of this part. Okay, and let's see what the recommendations are. Okay, so the first thing that you have to know is what is this NCF and what is this NEP? Now, NCF is called National Curriculum Framework. It's a document, it's a huge document, it's a heavy document, and NEP is the National Education Policy. Now, respected teachers, the policy is always made by the government. Okay. Now, if time and again the government comes, government forms, and the government creates policies for different aspects of leading the country, moving the country forward. One of the aspects is that of education. We have policy for transportation, we have policy for agriculture, we have policy for export, import, we have policy for higher education, we have policy for culture, and so on and so forth. Like that, we have a policy which is known as the education policy, and it's of prime importance. I will say education policy is such a policy which is given paramount interest by the government because it is the education. Education is that particular weapon, that particular tool, I will say, that particular aspect of human beings which is required in order to develop society, in order to develop individuals, in order to develop the nation, the state, so on and so forth. So this policy is created by the people who are there in the government. Okay, there are experts, there are people from various fraternity of learning and also public, general public like you and me. And the government creates that, okay, by seeing what is happening into the world, what is happening to the other countries across the world, how the system is moving, the education system is moving over there, how the changes are coming, keeping those things in mind, a policy is made, a vision is created, and we have this National Education Policy of 2020, which is the most discussed policy, I will tell you. Respected teachers, previously also education policies were there, they are formed, but they never really got that type of discussion the way the NEP 2020 is getting. So this policy is created by the government according to the requirements, and then this particular policy is then placed in front of, it is placed into a group of learned people, it is placed in front of a group of experts again, into a group of learned people who belong to the nation, and they have various positions in life. They are coming from various domains of life, like there are scientists, there are teachers, there are actors, there are fashion designers are also there, and there are common people like you and me, and even teachers who belong to the pre-primary section, to the teachers who are doing the highest level of research work and helping people. So all these people are there who form the entire steering committee. We call it as the steering committee, and the policy is given to them. After giving the policy to them, they are told that, okay, now you make a framework, a national curriculum framework on how the teaching learning processes, how the various aspects of education should move on. And in this way, it is given to a group of people, and they then look deep into the matter. They try to find out what is government's mission, what is government's vision, what the government wants in the policy. According to that, the national curriculum framework is made. And this national curriculum framework is just like a book of suggestions. It's like a book of suggestions. Through these suggestions, we school teachers, masters, teachers, principals, everybody is asked to go through the suggestions and then frame our own curriculum to run the institutions. Uh, Time and again, I would want to use this particular word, that this is a book of suggestions. It's not that exactly you have to go through this book and work out as word by word what is given in the book. No, it's a book of suggestions only, but it's an interesting book. You should read it and you should use it as much as possible in order to frame your own curriculum. And this curriculum that you will make after going through the national curriculum framework, after going through the recommendations of the national curriculum framework, after reading it, you can customize the curriculum of your school as per your own ways and means, as per the place where you stay, as per your school's culture, as per is the culture of the society where your school is created, per the resources that are available, as per the standard of the student, standard of the parents. On the basis of that, you can make your own curriculum, but you can take the help. That is why this book is created. The second part that we need to know is we should differentiate between knowledge, capacities, values, and dispositions essential for achievement of aims of school education. The respected teachers, this NCF talks about aims of education. Now, every nation, every country, every school, every university, every college have certain aims towards this education. We in life also we have aims. No, I want to become this, I want to become that. In order to achieve those aims, we are supposed to know a few basic things of life. Uh, Excuse me, we are supposed to know few basic things of life. If we know those basics, then our aims, our dreams will be achieved. So aims of education, every nation have aims of education. Okay, that the curriculum will be made in such way, students will be given knowledge in this particular way, that knowledge will remain with them for the rest of their life. With that knowledge, they will increase their capacities of learning. While the capacities of learnings are going up, the values and disposition should move simultaneously with the learning process, so that learning not only becomes not learning not only helps in achieving the marks and scores, but achieving the values of life. That is also intent. So when you talk about knowledge, if you have gone through Bloom's taxonomy, or if you have read in various ways and means by how knowledge has been described by various people in the world of teaching learning, knowledge is something like, say, you get an idea about it. Okay, let's take it in this way. You get an idea about it. Let's take, for example, nowadays we give the knowledge to the children. Like Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was one of the person who was responsible for bringing freedom to India. Okay, fine. That's knowledge. Mahatma Gandhi was a person who lived in India before independence, and he was responsible for bringing freedom to India, or helping India to gain freedom from the British. This is the knowledge. Very good. This is something. Now, if you want to if you want to get total capacity of understanding knowledge, then we have to know why Mahatma Gandhi is only called the person who is responsible for bringing this freedom to the nation. Why Mahatma Gandhi, or say Jawaharlal Nehru, or say other people? Why they are given this particular this information or importance of this particular activity that happened in the world, or something that happened to the nation? Why they are? Then we have to study more deeply, and we have to understand. Okay, they fought for the nation. Several times they went into the jail by the British people because they were fighting for their nation. They never leave any stone unturned on earth to make sure that the nation and its people are free. So when so much information we get about this, we get a concrete idea that, okay, because of this particular reason, this particular person is called uh, is the one of the person who was responsible for bringing freedom. Now the this part is deeper understanding of knowledge. This increase your capacities of learning. Or let's take, for example, we have studied in science, in basic science also, that the sun is at the center. Okay, let's take an example. The sun is at the center, and the planets are orbiting around the sun. This is the knowledge. Now, why the sun is stationary, and why the planets are in dynamic motion, there's a reason behind that. They have they have their own pathways. Through the pathways, there is force of attraction, and all these things are there. There's what you call advanced physics is associated with it. So when we get to know why they are evolving and why the sun is stationary, then we get a total capacity, you get a complete knowledge about it. So that is how knowledge has to be differentiated. Now, when we are going with this knowledge, when at the same time we also have to understand the values of learning. Like suppose if science is taught, okay, children are taught about science, children are taught about nuclear reactions, chemical reactions, various aspects of science. Now, when they are taught, at the same time, we should also teach with our children what is the value of this learning, why we should, and how judiciously we should use the information, how judiciously we should use the information for the betterment of mankind. Now, say for example, nuclear energy. Nuclear energy has tremendous capacity to give us energy, but that energy should be utilized in the best possible way for to serve mankind. But unfortunately, nuclear energy is also, there was a time when nuclear energy was used for destruction of mankind. So why destruction is bad, why construction is good, there are those values we need to teach. That is how the objectives of NCF will go forward. We will also discuss about the achievement of achievement of the aims of school education. How we should achieve the aims we have: complete education, total education, holistic development, inclusive education, so many things. So how step by step with this knowledge, with our capacities, enabling them with values, we will move forward to make sure that the aims of education are achieved. And we will also use appropriate approach to arrive at learning standards. So gaining knowledge, gaining the capacities, uh, trying to achieve the aims of education, and how this aims of education will help us to go into the learning standards. There are learning standards. Learning standards means how much the learning at every level of schooling, every level of learning will go on, so that we achieve those standards and maintain those standards. This is what is also been discussed in this our NCA. So we will see these things also as we go forward. Okay. Obviously, the questions often asked is, what do you mean by curriculum? What do you mean by curriculum? Respected teachers, just 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. If you can, just write within 2 or 3 words. What do you understand by the term curriculum in your chat box, so that we can have a small discussion about it? What do you mean by curriculum? Can you just write it down in your chat box? What do you understand by curriculum? To you, what is curriculum? There's nothing like a wrong answer or right answer. Whatever you will say, we will take it, because you will say it from your perception. So can we have a one or two this thing answers? What do you understand by the term curriculum? After that, I will definitely discuss in detail about it. But can we have somebody? So can somebody tell me over there, or can someone tell me over there? What do you understand by the term curriculum? We'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes. All the subjects are taught in school, college, university, the contents. Okay, okay, I agree with you. Anybody else has any other answer? Anybody else has, okay, for one answer we got, okay, all the subjects, everything that is taught. Okay, that's part of the curriculum. Definitely, I agree with you. A curriculum is the planned course of study that outlines what students will learn and how it will. Okay, fine. That also I agree. Fine. Okay, that's all. Thank you, because we have to move forward. See, a curriculum, if you take into the what you call in the beard language, if you talk into the beard language, through the beard language, if we talk about what the this this NCF is also talking about, or what any NEP is talking about, curriculum is actually the total experience that an individual gets in an institutional setting. Okay. A curriculum is something, is like, it's like an experience an individual gets in a complete setting, or in a total institutionalized setting. Now, each of our schools, colleges, universities, they are institutions. Even the house from where the child is coming is also an institution. We have to see it in that way. So when you talk about the curriculum, is that the complete experience that one gets. Now, what are the parts of the curriculum then also? Yes, learning experience is also included. First of all, definitely the culture of the school is a part of the curriculum. Teachers like you and me who are associated, they are part of the curriculum. The syllabus is part of the curriculum. The content is the part of the curriculum. The teaching learning materials that are created are part of the curriculum. The way of executing the teaching learning process, just now somebody has written, is part of the curriculum. So curriculum is not only limited to syllabus or to extracurricular activities, or curriculum is the overall experience that a person gets. Even how to evaluation is on, yes, all these things are a part of the evaluation, is a part of the curriculum. Assessment is a part of the curriculum. Providing assignment is a part of the curriculum. So like this, it's a combination of lot many things which are associated with that teaching learning process, which will ultimately make an individual an intellectual person. Somebody who can differentiate at a certain period of time that what is wrong and what is not wrong, what is good and what is not good. Huh? How to use the knowledge not only in passing the examination but in life also. So that is what is curriculum all about. In a career, one will get everything. And what is an ideal curriculum? And obviously, an ideal curriculum is that curriculum which is suitable for a particular ecosystem, which is suitable for a particular ecosystem. That is ideal curriculum. Now, suppose I am in Dhanbad in Baliapur. My place have a different culture as compared to the city of Patna, where the culture is different, where people's way of living is different, where availability of resources are much more advanced in advanced form compared to what is available to me. So I will make a system in such a way within my limits to make sure that my children get the best. And teachers of Patna, where life is more advanced, they will create a teaching learning process which will help their children to live as per the culture of Patna, as per the development of culture, Patna. So that is an ideal curriculum. An ideal curriculum is that particular curriculum which is suitable for that ideal ecosystem, for that ideal campus, for that ideal area, for that ideal locality. Okay, exactly. That is an ideal curriculum. And why do we need an effective curriculum? Very simple. If we don't get an effective curriculum, then how will we give effective learnings to our students? How will we move with the process of effective learning? Result-oriented curriculum is needed, and where a lot of innovation, a lot of hard work is required from the teacher's side, from the people who are working to make up this curriculum. We need an effective curriculum so that we get the best out of our curriculum, and the best is given to the students so that they also carry this the legacy of best for the rest of their life. And what is the foundation for curriculum development? How do we create a curriculum? We can create a curriculum. What is the foundation? You see, creating a curriculum is a totally scientific process. Respected teachers, I'll tell you how to create this curriculum. Observe, understand, see, believe, trust, and create a curriculum. Lot of understanding that, and that is where the teachers work comes more handy, because teachers are supposed to be people with lot of insights and foresights. Teachers can say exactly what is required, and experts in the teaching learning process, they can say what is required. They can visualize. On visualization of this, we can make a very strong curriculum, and we can move forward with our scheme of studies. Let's quickly look at the different types of NCFs that so far we had in our country. First NCF came in 1975. In 1968, 64 or 68, when this national education policy was introduced, the Kothari Commission came immediately after that. After some time, not immediately after that. After some time, once the this thing was placed in front of the government, and then the government recommended for the formation of the NCF. And the first NCF came in 1975, which focused on restructuring education to meet post-independence challenges. Immediately after independence, the nation was facing a lot of challenges. There was poverty, there was inequality, okay, there was lack of education. So all these challenges were there, and in 1975, the first NCF was created to how to face these challenges and how to reconstruct them. A few things of that era, of the British era, how we should remove them, and how should we come with our own ideas and thoughts. So that was in 1975. In 1986 also one national education policy came, but unfortunately that policy did not really got its real value because it was not placed in the proper way. At that time also in 1988, again NCF came into NCF was made and it emphasized on equality in education, provided guidelines for teacher training and school management. The main thing was that now first it was the reconstruction of the challenges that we're facing. The next one that gave more on emphasis on equality in education. That is education for all. Everybody should get education. Apart from that, it discussed length and breadth about teacher training, school management, how teachers should be trained, what are the scientific processes to be applied to make sure that teaching learning becomes more available to the students, more accepted. It will become more acceptable for the students. This thing, what you call, it should be student friendly. So like that. Then again in 2000, NCF came, addressed learning without burden. So and then since then, from 2000 onwards, the change was slowly coming. Okay, flexibility was developing. So that was addressed more about making teaching learning more acceptable, more enjoyable, rather than creating it as a burden or a stress for students. And then in 2005, again in 2005, it was introduced when constructivist approaches of education and experiential learning and a shift from rote learning was slowly moving away. Okay, and then we have this 2023 one, which talks length and breadth about the new developments in the system of education, where a paradigm shift took place in the teaching learning process, where we shifted away, far away from this rote learning, and tried to create more about conceptualized learning, more about this what you call content believable learning, more about experiential learning, more about art integrated learning, and finally all culminates together to form into competency based learning, where the students will get competent enough to know their subject, understand their subject, and not only to use them for just for passing examinations, but to pass life's examination, to solve life's problem. That's what the new one talks about. Okay, so let's go a little forward. Now, why NCF School Education 20? Why we are so much concerned about it? Why you are discussing so much? Now, the thing is that it emphasizes on holistic, integrated, and learner-centered education. Respected teachers, if you get a chance to read the NCF, I request all of you, you can download the NCF from internet. You can go, you can visit the NCRT site. There you will get the NCF. You download it. If you are very serious about education, if you are very serious about teaching your student, then read that book. It's a wonder tool, I'll tell you. I think if you download it and if you get it printed, it will cost you somewhere around 1,000 rupees, not more than that. But it will be an asset for you. And I have one with me also. Okay. Uh, it's around 600 pages or something like that. It will be an asset for you. I'll tell you. So it will help you to go, it will help you to understand about the holistic learning that is taking place, complete total learning, integrated and learner-centered. And it talks all about integration of subjects, integration of feelings, integration of understanding of the values of learning. And it is a totally learner-centered education. If you see the NCF also, no, if you see this thing, what you call the NEP, where the main idea of NEP was to make it a learner-centered system. The policies are made in such a way that they are both learner-centered, not teacher-centered. Because the learner has to learn. No? It is not the teacher who has to learn. The teacher will just become a facilitator of helping the students to get it. So that was one thing. Second, the context of it, the way it is made, aligning education with the 21st century needs. Okay, needs including a focus on critical thinking, ethical development, and foundational literacy and numeracy also. So this NCF will help again to enable students through the teachers to enable students to get into the habit of critical thinking. Rote learning will never lead to critical thinking, but experiential learning will lead to critical thinking. Art integrated learning will lead to critical thinking. Students will try to say why this is done in this particular way and not in that particular way. So obviously, when the question of this why and how are explained, then they will start thinking in a different way, which is called critical thinking. when there is when the question of logic will be applied over here. That is required for critical thinking. Why the color of the grass is green? Which is grass is green. Why the color of grass is green? The color of grass is green because grass contains a certain chemical substance within the cells of its leaves of the grass blades, which is known as chlorophyll, or a plastid known as chloroplast. Now, this chloroplast has this green coloring effect because of this. This is why. And the question can ask then why if when this color is how this color can be removed? We say if we cover the grass with a few things and don't let the sunlight come in, then that photosynthesis will not take place, and all those things will not happen, and the grass will turn into hay color. Again, the color will change. So this is why these are where critical thinking will come. Ethical development. Teaching learning should not only be used for the purpose of passing examinations and use it with, it should, the ethical development should be why, what I should do and what I should not do. Very, very important. A learned person, an educated person will always understand the values of learning, values of development. The ethical concerns are very important. Now, suppose if I want to write a short story for the children of age group, say 3 to 7, I am not supposed to use certain type of language or certain type of words which will harm their understanding, which will stop their development and will compel them to take a wrong route. I cannot do that. But yes, keeping how the society moves, keeping all aspects of life. When I will write a novel or I'll write a short paragraph or something for the adult people, then I can use certain language, certain words to describe that also in a very, very appropriate way. So that is where ethical development is required. And that we need to teach our children. We just cannot write anything we feel like or say anything we feel like. They have to be age appropriate, brain appropriate, okay, and maturity appropriate also. And it also talks about how the foundational literacy and numeracy, right from the beginning, how the children should learn about calculation. Or I will not even say calculation. Calculation will be a big word. How to count, how to say more, how to talk about less. And literacy means the language, how to understand the words, the letters, start with the letters, the words, the sentences, and so on and so forth. This idea also we will get if we go through this policy. Okay. This NCF, and which is developed on the recommendation of the NEP, right? The NEP 2020 and NCF. Connection between the two, what is the connection between the two, which is very important, we should know. See, National Education Policy, it is a vision of transforming India's education system by 2030. That is what is the policy it is given. Emphasizes on flexibility, inclusivity, and multidisciplinary education. That you know. Okay, enough of discussions are going on with the National Education Policy about the flexibility, because other policies were there which got some sort of criticism, but I can say it was all required at that time. That's why it was meant. Too much criticism is also not good. Now, why nowadays we are talking about flexibility? We are talking about flexibility in the system because too much rigidity will also not help the nation to develop. Too much rigidity will also not help the individuals to get exactly what we need. Now, let's take, for example, we have right now with us a scholar, a great teacher, principal in form of Himanshu sir, and many more are a few are there. But since I cannot recollect your names, I will always give him as the example. Okay. Now, we have Himanshu sir. I personally know Himanshu sir for a long period of time. Many of you also know, a brilliant scholar, a great teacher, and a great principal. Now, his subject is physics. He's a physics man. And during his time, when he was with his education, when he was doing his graduation, post graduation, and other things, his PhD, he was compelled to study not many subjects. Among them, maybe one or two subjects he didn't like at all. Maybe let's take for example, maybe he didn't like chemistry at all, but he liked math. I'm just giving an example. Okay, don't take it in a different way. He liked physics, he liked mathematics, and he disliked chemistry. But he was compelled and somehow he just managed. Now he could not love that subject. At the same time, Himanshu sir has tremendous affinity towards, say, this creative English writing. He had a tremendous affinity towards creative English writing. He could write. He could have written wonderful poems on wonderful romantic poems, poems on nature. But he was not allowed to go or take this particular subject, which is BSc or MSc degrees, because at that time it was thought that these have no relevance with that learning. But today, according to the new education policy, the policy makers found no. Let us give our students those subjects which they love and where they can excel. So Himanshu sir had excelled as a physicist. At the same time, if he was given the opportunity to talk about or to discuss or learn about creative English writing, he could have also used that quality of his for his own professional development as well as for the development of economical development of the nation. He could have written numerous number of through which he could have earned something for his own self. At the same time, he could have contributed to the nation. This is exactly what flexibility is about in our NEP 2020. And this is what the government wants. Let children study those subjects in which they really fall in love with. BSc, BCom, whatever is subject, but subjects which can be the main subject, main base will be, of course, the concerned subject. Along with that, if some associated subjects are given, this would be also allowed. Physics, chemistry, creative writing can come for a physics honor student. Okay, you understand? This is what we are emphasizing. Then, of course, inclusivity. Bring everybody under the umbrella of learning. And then according to NEP 2020, each and every child is capable of learning. And multidisciplinary education, don't just limit education to only science and commerce and humanities and multidisciplinary. Even nowadays, some of the professional degrees can be combined with humanities, and a beautiful combination of subjects are coming, which is enabling the students to learn and stand up in life. Focus on ethical and constitutional values. Yes, nation first. Constitutional values should be known, and ethics should be there. So this is what is the connection between the education policy and what is NCF doing. NCF is developed as the operational framework to implement the NEP 2022, which in the beginning I told you that develop it. The focus is there, the vision is there, develop it. Okay, details on how the NEP's vision is in school education and details on how to of the NEP's, how to implement the vision, how to make the vision into reality, that will come through NCF, which the government is thinking about. Let's move a little forward. Again, India's vision of education overall that I have already talked about. Long-term goals have been created. Okay, deals on all aspects of education, higher vocational and all. And NCF is what? It's an operational framework for implementing the network. Anything. Operational framework of implementing detailed structure for school curriculum and pedagogy. It gives us a complete idea about what is the school curriculum, how the pedagogy should be created. Provide detailed guidelines for teachers, administrators, and curriculum developers. It's a book of guidelines. It's a book of guidelines. It's like a reference book. Okay. A specific focus on school education, and NCF will only focus on school education up from KG to, I mean, from what do you call, from foundation to the senior secondary part. Okay. Objectives of NCF. What are the objectives? The first of all, emphasize education for all, right from the beginning. I'm telling, regardless of socio-economic backgrounds or abilities, each and every person is capable of learning, irrespective of what is the position of that particular student in society, from which strata of society he comes from which cultural background, which ethical background, which socio-economic background the child comes or the students come, they are capable of learning. And whatever is their physical, mental state of life, all should be included in education. Nobody should be excluded. Ethics and constitutional values, embedded moral values. The process of learning should always be embedded with moral values. We are not here to create robots and zombies. No, we are here to create human beings. So with the education system, with the subjects, whatever it is, they should give as the moral values should be discussed. Citizenship, constitutional awareness towards education, towards life should be very much there. And then only we can make a good intellectual person. Otherwise, they will be all learned, stupid people, what you say, something. You know? Learning is there, but the brain is not there. 21st century skills, developing creativity, critical thinking, communication, collaboration of students, all will move forward. Foundational literacy and numeracy, prioritizing on the basics learning. You know, respected teachers, initially we used to have this 10+2 learning system in our country. Slowly we are drifting away from it now. The 10+2 system was there. We never had officially this nursery, LKG, UKG, that what you call the pre-primary section of the school was not officially there. Okay, even in CBSE, when you used to send information about the school, you used to start from class 1. This particular part was in a very unorganized way. Some people use excess pressure to create students from from the starting point, which later found out to be very difficult to maintain. Manoj Kumar sir, Mount Zion. And then later the government understood, because if you read this in 1 hour, I cannot discuss everything. Whatever is coming into my mind, I'm telling you. In NCF, one research paper is there which informs us, or which is giving us information that in class 1, suppose in class 1, there was 100% admission. By the time the students came to class 5, the dropouts started coming up. And by the time the students went to class 7, 8, 9, 10, the dropout rate was increasing and increasing. It was going up and up. Okay, the graph was increasing. The reason was that the foundation learning was not done in a proper way, because of which the students were getting frustrated in the higher schools and they were leaving. So that is why the government decided, no, let us now start right from the beginning. Bring the children from their house at 3 to 3.5 years of age and put them in school and just observe them and see how they are doing. From where the foundational literacy and numeracy will start developing. And of course, for a holistic development, nurturing physical, cognitive, social, and emotional growth, nurturing physical, the child, there should be physical growth, and the brain should grow properly. The thinking capacities of children should increase, and that those thinking capacities can be inculcated if we make a effective curriculum, which we are seeing just now after some time ago. Then social and emotional growth is also needed. Children should not become jealous. Children should not be self-centered. They should not only focus on their own self. They should learn how to share, how to care, how to go about with things, not just thinking about their own selves. So this is what NCF talks about. And definitely it is showing us pathways of how to deal with the system. So excuse me, whenever you will be creating the curriculum for your school, in order to, for following the mission and vision of NEP and taking the guidelines of NCF, please keep all these things in your mind, including ethics and constitutional values, 21st century skills, foundation literacy and numeracy, and of course the holistic development that is also required. Okay, let's go a little forward. The characteristics of this NCF, what is the characteristics of this NCF 2023? The first of all, it is learner-centric. It focuses on individuals' need, pace, and interest of students. It has been made in such a way that suggestions are given that don't just rush on to finish your syllabus or the course. Make it happen in the classroom. Let the children focus on their work. Okay, let them learn according to their pace. Pace over here means according to their time. Don't just go on finishing it, and let the students get interest. Curriculum should be made in such a way that the students should find it interesting. The teacher himself is a part of the curriculum, in the beginning I told you. So your very presence in the classroom, your attitude, your behavior, your way of thinking, your way of dealing with the students will compel the student to come to the classroom every day. That will create interest, because the teacher first has to create interest of his own self within the classroom. Then only the students will get interest in the subjects. Very important. Interdisciplinary and flexible encourages cross-disciplinary learning. This we have been talking since last 1 year or so about interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary or interdisciplinary learning. Join one subject with another subject. Let the teachers collaborate with each other. Instead of moving away from each other, instead of teachers moving away from each other, it is there that they should join hands together. They should make a strong chain within the school campus, within the classrooms, and create such a unique curriculum that students will understand the value of each subject and how they should move on, pass on information from one to another. Say, for example, if English, if the knowledge of English is excellent among the students, they will find it very easy to understand science, understand social science. And here the teacher should join hands with one another, not to have any type of ego feeling that no, I will not deal with I will not talk with the science teacher. What the science teacher knows, he just explains a few things which were been told time and ago by scientists. I am an English teacher. My world is of high capacity thinking, of intellectual. I will not join hands with them. Or the science teacher should not say, "Arey, what is there with the English teachers? They always live in the world of ifs and buts. We are people who live in a world of yes or no." Now, these types of old order thinking should now slowly move away. And instead we say, yes, English sir, science sir, English madam, science sir, join hands together. Let's do something good for our children so that they will fall in love with the subject English as well as with the understanding of physics, chemistry with the help of good English. Prabhat sir, thank you. Competency-based learning, moving away from rote learning to develop competencies like problem solving and analytical skills. Now, again, I will talk a little about this competency-based learning. Still many teachers have still the concept is not very clear to them is what exactly this competency-based learning. Respected teachers, let's take it in this way. First of all, whenever we will teach a subject to the student, whether it is English, Hindi, mathematics, science, or first of all, we have to talk about the subject clearly. What is the purpose of learning this subject or studying this subject? Why students should study Hindi? Many say, हम थोड़े सर हिंदी जाके पढ़ेंगे जब हम साइंटिस्ट बनेंगे. जरूरत है आपको हिंदी पढ़ना. जरूरत है because वो that will develop the language skill within you. जरूरत है आपको इंग्लिश पढ़ना. So first of and then the next level, once we understand the languages, then the next level of understanding will take place. And then what will happen? The concept of anything that we will learn, we need to know the concept. Even why the word because is spelled in this way, that concept should all because Because. Why it is Because? Why not because Bcoz, which nowadays they use in this short form writing? No rationality behind that because COZ, but rationality because BECAUSE, because that has sound, that has motion within the word, that has understanding of that. The concept of learning should be there. In the same way, once the concept is clear, then the students will have a confidence. They will develop confidence with their subject. And they will become competent enough to apply that knowledge, that idea, not only to pass the examination, but to pass the examinations of life. And anytime, wherever any type of problem will arise, they can solve that problem by understanding what the teacher taught in the school and how to utilize that learning in order to solve this. That is what is competency based. Competent enough to apply the knowledge whenever, wherever, however they are required. Technology integration emphasizes the use of digital tools and resources in teaching. Yes. Join them together. We just simply, there was a time, even I'll tell you, respected teachers, even 10 years or 12 years ago, I was also not that much ready to take technology. I also used to think, no, 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 no. The way I use, I can do it without technology also. My own quality, my own thinking will bring a different mode of teaching learning in the classroom. But I was wrong. I understood. We have to move forward. And with the change, I also need to change. So technology, I'll not say that 100% technology will, because the human being, the teacher is very much needed in the classroom. But at the same time, yes, we need to focus on child's spoken English, sir. And if the teachers speak in English in the classrooms, within the classrooms, outside the classroom, inside the classroom, in the corridors of the school, if that environment of spoken English environment or English speaking environment is created within the campus, the children are bound to get the spoken English more fluently and more effectively for their own selves. But that needs to be practiced. The children may not get that habit in the house, but in the school we can make it. Okay. So what I was talking about that uh, I was also not ready to take, but then slowly we have to integrate ourselves with the digital system. We have to go with this blending learning. We have to use, last time you remember we are discussing about this computational thinking and artificial intelligence. We need technology and we have to integrate, and that's what NCF is telling. Use the technology wherever it is required to make sure that teaching learning becomes something wonderful in the classroom. Teacher empowerment and equips teacher with modern pedagogical techniques and training opportunities. Today we are having some discussions, maybe not 100% we are getting it, but definitely. So equip teachers with modern pedagogical techniques. You are the teacher of this 21st century. You know what to teach, but how to teach or what pedagogy you have to apply. That for that you need the help of NCF. NCF will guide you to create more effective pedagogies. What is pedagogy? Pedagogy is that process by which you teach your children. Okay, simple way. And training opportunities should be given to the teachers so that they can learn time and again. So what are the strategies that you have to keep? Strategies to read. Achha, we have the NCF. How you will read it? Now the NCF has different parts. Okay. What are the different strategies to read the NCF so that it will become more helpful for you? First of all, a very integrated approach, read from start to finish. Each section is interconnected. You can read from start to finish. Part A must be read as it lays the foundation of the framework. If you open the framework, you'll find there's a part A. The part A should be read. If you can read from start to finish, well, that is excellent. If you can do it. If it is difficult, then take time, slowly read it. Part A is a must. You have to read it because it lays the foundation of the framework. What is this framework? It talks about the various aspects of teaching, learning, and so on and so forth. Then we have read part A and the concerned subject-specific chapters from part C. Then we have part C. In the part C, we have different subject-specific chapters. Okay, in the NCF. Like we have for science, for English, for Hindi. So you can read, example, science education for science teachers, English education for English teachers, social science education for social science teachers. Uh, Moving with this, from part A must be read, essential for all stakeholder teachers. Read part A and their subject specific chapters. When you will get that NCF, because until and unless you don't read it, you will not be able to utilize it. Huh? So teachers read part A and their subject specific chapters from part C, science, and just now I told you. Somebody is asking for the attendance link. Administrators focus on school culture and practices. That is part D, which is definitely for principals, vice principals. They should read it along with the coordinators. Creating an enable ecosystem, part E, but that also you can read. Curriculum developers should have to read the entire curriculum. You have to understand it, the entire volume. If you are a part of the curricular developer team, respected teachers, read it. But I will say each one of you should read it from start to finish. It is time consuming, okay, but read it. Even I have it with me. To be very honest with you, I downloaded it 2 years ago, and still I'm reading it. Still, time and again, whenever I'm getting opportunity, I'm reading it because the more I read, the more I'm forgetting it. So I have to read it again and again. And those other stakeholders, they can read the summary of the chapters. of interest without skipping part A. So part A is a must. Just wait 1 minute. If you can see me, I will show you that. This is the NCF school education. Okay, it's of 600 pages. Just let me see here how many pages it has, because sometimes I also forget. It has exactly 597, 98, 600 pages. You can take it. Okay. This is of 600 pages. Please see this book. This is a wonderful book for all of us. It's a modern day Bible, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Sendavasta, Quran, whichever you will say for us, for teachers. So keep it with you, respected. Download it, have it with you. Regarding strategy for different stakeholders, okay, that same thing. How will you read it? Part A on subject-specific chapters, part for administrators, culture, practices, and all these things. For curricular developers, read the entire volume, and for other stakeholders, the thing. Okay. Now, the NEP 2020 has a vision. That vision needs to be brought back into reality. So, the National Education Policy envisions a global-based education system. If we can move with this, we will definitely have a global-based education system. But it is time-consuming. It is rooted to Indian values. Let's make it a point that it gets rooted to the Indian values, aligned with the principles of developing cognitive and social and emotional creation. Okay, this is too much. Broad, broad aim of school education. In the beginning, we are discussing, first of all, the rational thought and autonomy should be there. Develop independent thinkers. See, respected teachers, if you all aim of all schools, this is in general. When this NCF was been made, okay, teachers were also consulted, principals were consulted, general public was also consulted in order to make this thing. The first thing that came into the mind, because then until and unless we don't allow our students to think rationally, until and unless we don't give them freedom or autonomy, then we cannot make independent thinkers. And if independent thinkers are not made, then they will all be like zombies and robots. You press it, they will give it. But no, let them do it by their own self. Health and well-being, developing knowledge, capacities, and dispositions for promotion of mind, body, and wellness. A healthy school, a healthy child, a healthy environment will help the child to get the knowledge, to develop the capacities. Democratic and community participation, enabling students to participate and contribute to the democratic functioning of India. Yes, let them understand what is this voting process all about. What is this election process all about? Why we celebrate Independence Day every year on 15th of August? Why we are celebrating Republic Day every year on 26th of January? And so on and so forth. So that needs a democratic community participation should be there. In many schools, I was shocked to hear that in many schools, 15th August is given as a holiday. My goodness, why so? 15th August will be a non-instructional day, but it will be a day of celebration for the nation. Holidays, it should not be a holiday. Many schools give it as a holiday, I came to know. Economic participation, enabling students to participate and contribute to the economy. We will make them learn in such a way that each and every student becomes valuable for the nation. They should not become liabilities for the nation. In whichever way they will contribute. Some may become people at the very high stake of the society to make decisions, and some may become those persons who will create those instruments for making those decisions. So each one should contribute for the development of the nation, for the economic development of the nation. Because if the nation is economically developed, rest of the things will develop. It will be a happy nation. Cultural participation, enabling students to participate meaningfully and contribute positively to the culture. We cannot drift away from our own culture, our own traditions. India, the nation, should always be there in their mind. Yesterday, I think yesterday, if possible, I will send it to Himanshu sir. A beautiful video I watched, about the country, about the contribution to the nation, how education. So I will send it to Himanshu sir. I will request Himanshu sir if he can later give it to the teachers or the principals of various schools who can later share it on with the teachers. and the teachers will share it with the children. I'll give it after this, immediately after this thing. A fantastic video I got about national development and all. So like this, we have to move forward. Okay. And the curricular areas which are discussed thoroughly in the NCF is definitely science, mathematics, languages, social science, art educational, physical education, and well-being. And now, of course, the vocational education is also introduced. Okay. So a lot of work is now going on. Every day I get one or two phone calls from principal sir, how to Kaushal both को कैसे implement किया जाए. Kaushal, we'll have a training on Kaushal both also. So I'll request sir, we'll have a training. We have fantastic training materials for that also. For Kaushal both, this vocational education, skill education, how to implement with the subject itself. Right? Okay, so this is how we will move. Developing values and dispositions, values, ethical and moral values, disposition is positive work, one ethical work, wonder and pride should be rooted with the country, capacities for inquiry effectiveness, the capacities should increase. Students should understand the logical, how logically reasoning should be done, how expressions can be made so that productive work can come out, and in curricular areas of languages, mathematics, science, education of well-being and vocational education, how we can get knowledge into it and make it acceptable by us as well as for our own society. Okay. Because at the end of the day, we have to keep two things in mind. One, the students learning, converting the students into good human beings, developing intellectual qualities so that when they will grow up and they will take charge of the nation, they can dispose of everything in a very effective way. The same thing they are talking about. Knowledge capacity should include procedural knowledge, knowing how to know, what to know, belief about what is right, what is wrong. That I talked about early in the session. Knowledge and capacities and values. How should we move forward? Knowledge about facts, information, building an intellectual purpose in education, building an intellectual foundation. In the beginning, I told you that if we have the right knowledge, we will be able to have that intellectual foundation. Examples, learning mathematical operation, historical events, scientific principles. These will help us to get that intellectual foundation. Through the instruction, how we will go on developing them. Now the capacities will increase. Why? The skills will apply to the knowledge effectively. Know the subject, get the concept, develop the practical abilities so that the competency levels will increase. That you will become confident enough to apply it, and so on and so forth. So this is, I'm not going in too much in detail because the time is also coming up. Okay. This is not there. So we will move in this way. When we will respected teachers, you will aims of education will be there. For aims of education, definitely we will have some curricular goals. I will prepare the curriculum. These are my goals. And how I will, in order to achieve those goals, I will go on developing the competencies of the students. And once they get the competencies, automatically we will see the learning outcomes, whether they have learned in the right proper way or not. Okay. So educational achievements that the students must achieve in school is aims of education, objectives starting from aims of education. It will go on and provide clarity to all the participant stakeholders, that teachers, students, educational functionaries, parents, society, everybody should get the information on how things are going on in the school system. Okay. Identify the major vocabulary of technology, use it in the framework. These are the different ways. They are the main thing we have done. Okay. Major recommendations: what? For foundational literacy and numeracy and early childhood care education should be comprehensive curriculum should be made for the 4 stages of education. Multilingualism, that's why we are giving so much that R1, R2, R3 is getting discussed. Multilingualism, let the students understand their language, the regional languages, go for experiential learning, use ICT, let there be flexibility in choice, so that we can create a support ecosystem, and then the students will learn. Thematic approach of school teaching and learning from class 6 to 8. We are going with all these things, and not many are happening. Teacher professional development should take place. Interdisciplinary areas of learning should develop. Inclusive education should be taught. Okay. Gender sensitivity. We discussed a lot about gender sensitivity. that needs to be learned by the teachers so that they can be implemented in the proper way in the classrooms, and wonderful sessions like this. Somebody has written wonderful, we can do it. The same wonderful sessions in our classrooms also, and so on and so forth. Okay. The rest are the same. So school subject areas, foundational stage, language education, mathematics education, science education, it will go on from stage secondary, grade 11 and 12. We'll have more other sessions. Okay. So holistic development, flexible offering of subjects, that is there. Innovative pedagogical approaches are given, inclusive practices are given. It all depends upon how you will utilize them and make it for your own self. And engage and effective pedagogy you create, equity and inclusion, let everybody come into the learning umbrella, under the learning umbrella, sorry. Multilingualism and Indian languages we are going to teach them. That's a lot of work is going on. R1, R2, R3, everyday questions are being asked. Kya kare sir, kaisa kaisa kare. Interdisciplinary understanding of social science through themes, capacities for scientific inquiry should go on. I mean, these are the ways by which you can go on teaching your children, but you can create the curriculum for yourself. The same thing, aims will be there. Nature the knowledge, create learning standards, create pedagogy, go for assessments, and make your classrooms wonderful. That some of the cross-cutting themes, additional issues or areas that they intersect with the main subjects can be easily integrated. CBSE always tells that always integrate certain ways with one subject with another subject so that learning becomes interesting. So values can be included, inclusions can be included, ICT can be applied with the subject. When you are teaching a subject, you can give a little bit of guidance on counseling also. Suppose if you are teaching chemistry and you find good number of students are interested in chemistry, you can counsel them that they can choose chemistry as their future advanced learning subject and they can go on learning. We can talk about the environment and rootedness to India. Everything should be on the nation first. That thing has to be kept in mind. Okay, so with that, we come to the end of this session, respected teachers. Very quick look at NCF, but you need to read this book time and again whenever you get the time. And if you have any queries regarding this, you are most welcome to contact me. My number is given over there, 82 500 391. And I think we have come, but this is just a tip of the iceberg. Okay, not many things are there to be learned. Maybe in the time we will learn more and more whenever I will get an opportunity. Whenever sir will give me an opportunity, definitely we will go further. Okay. So with this, I'm closing the PPT, and if anybody has any questions to ask, they can ask. And we will request Himanshu sir for his expert comments. Sir, if you can enlighten us a little bit more with whatever so far we have discussed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Once again, excellent session. Very
Thank you, sir.
enlightening, very enriching. But as you said, NCF is a very deliberate deliberations, and we need to stress upon this very exhaustively. This was the
Exactly.
crux of the NCF that you tried in your best in 1 hour. That's the best part. I'm very, very thankful to you once again. We'll keep disturbing you in coming time as well. So now, thank you so much. Now you can leave.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you to all the participants. We have already shared the attendance link. You can fill it within the stipulated time by 6:15, and we'll reconnect in the next session. Thank you so much. Thank you, Surajit
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And good night to all of you.
Right.